Okay, so for reasons that I cannot fathom, my camera is doing all kinds of weird fucking shit with my picture today, but what the fuck, I've got something important to talk about, and who the fuck cares what the quality of the video is. I've been sitting down and I've been watching, as people who've watched me for a while know, and talked about the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan and the general madness that seems to have infected our political classes, and the massive hypocrisy that went on when there was a lot of jostling for the new vice prime ministership, or what the fuck it is, of the Labour Party, you know, where the deputy prime minister, that's the word I was hunting for, when all that was going on, and everybody that had been involved with the cabinet was walking around and going, well, I never agreed with the law, despite the fact that they'd been part of the cabinet since the beginning, and they, by a matter of record, had never raised any questions because they admitted it. And then they went around and suppressed the notes about those conversations leading up to the war in 2003, which eventually meant that no one really knows what actually happened. The only things which have come out have been the pieces of advice that were published by Lord Goldsmith, who was the Attorney General at the time, whose job it was to advise the Cabinet. And anyway, to cut a very long story short, as everybody knows, it appears that no one asked any questions. And then during the Deputy Prime Minister campaign, lots of people came out and said, oh, you know, bad thing. And yet they haven't actually done anything to stop the war, or to actually help with, you know, rehabilitating soldiers or any of that stuff. So today was the end of major combat operations in Iraq for the United Kingdom. We are finally pulling out of Basra, although, you know, in reality we did that nearly a year ago. But no, now we are officially no longer even guarding the airbase. It's apparently a safe zone, so safe in fact that all they need is a few thousand American troops there. Yeah, it looks like a complete cock-up. We lost 170 guys down there, which is a shitload. Yeah, put that into some context. In the entire insurgency since the 1970s in Northern Ireland, we lost about 2,000 guys. So this is you know, big shit. And day before yesterday, it looks like a friend of mine's brother trodden a landmine. I don't know what state he's in yet. He's in Germany at the moment, which is one of the major military hospitals, and he'll be back in the UK probably tomorrow sometime. He's alive, and he's got all his legs, which is a positive start, because the guy next to him was killed outright, apparently. Although, again, I don't know all the details yet. The long and the short of this is, I sit here every day and I look at the news reports, which come like fifth now in the bulletins, which we get, behind fucking Jade Goody and her cervical cancer. You know, dumb bitch dies of cancer. Ugh. It happens all the fucking time. Everybody has to deal with this crap. Very few people give a shit about the guys who are getting shot up for this country. And we sort of seem to spend our time obsessing about crap that doesn't matter, and not worrying about the fact we are engaged in a really hot war in Afghanistan with guys who have gone out there and been given the wrong equipment, with an MOD which is just about got its head around the idea of fighting the Cold War 20 years after it ended, with massive capital projects that they've sunk their entire budgets into, so they can't afford basic shit like, you know, a radio that works. It's taken us 23 years to procure a new radio system. It beggars belief how that can happen. And for some reason, everybody wants to build aircraft carriers and nuclear submarines, but no one wants to make body armor or transport that's vaguely bomb-proof. Nobody wants to send more grunts out there. Nobody wants to increase the squaddies' pay. Nobody wants to set them up with pensions. Nobody wants to make sure that they're getting proper education, or that there's a jobs program going for them. So what we're seeing at the moment is a bunch of guys coming back with no qualifications other than how to operate a 50 cal or a GPMG, and what can they do on Civvy Street? Not much. And we're going into the jaws of a depression now. So the money that we might have had to do this previously has been spanked on projects like banning smoking from pubs, because fuck me, that's dangerous compared to having your arse shot off in Afghanistan. And not enough money's been spent on making sure these guys get the care that they need. I mean, we've just stopped a bunch of Gurkhas who are basically foreign mercenaries that we've included in our forces. And they're wonderful guys, they're very honourable, and they do a fantastic job, but they are mercenaries, and that's fine, that's no problem. But when they ask for citizenship, why the hell are we hesitating? It's not like the whole of Nepal is going to move to the UK, and even if it did, we wouldn't notice it. There's only a couple of million of them anyway, and we've already let in like 30 million people in the last 25 years. So what's the biggie? I don't understand why we have a problem with it. And I know this is a slightly difficult and potentially incoherent rant, but I just feel that we have a society that no longer gives a fuck about the war that we have sleepwalked into, where we seem on Civvy Street to be so completely risk-adverse in everything that we do, to the most ridiculous degree. You know, we've got a health and safety executive that basically controls every facet of our lives, and that we legislate on the basis of risk. But when it comes to sending our boys abroad to get their butt shot off, we can't be bothered to raise the frankly laughably small amounts of tax money to pay to have these guys have a decent life before, during and after. And yet we ask them to make the ultimate sacrifice. It just pisses me the fuck off that my friends, and large numbers of my friends, are or have been in combat in the last 18 months, and no one seems to know. These guys are coming back again with bits missing, psychologically damaged, and we don't fucking care. It makes me so angry. And the worst part of it is I don't think there's anything I can do. No amount of ranting to you guys is going to change the way that people feel about it. Because the only people that fucking watch this are people that want to see my point of view already. Okay, that's it. Thank you.